Hi, tutors. So let's talk about giving the student the marker. You don't know what they can do until they do it. In our flow of a tutoring session, this is part of the process, right? You've kind of figured out where you are. You've done some meaning making, maybe looking at some examples, modeling, I do, we do, you do, co-creating tools, graphic organizers, etc. And now you're trying to see, where are we now? What is the student capable of? The cool thing about giving the student the marker is that it is a great where are we now tool, but it's also a great meaning making tool. And we'll talk about the nuances of that. So your superpower as a tutor is this idea of informal assessment. What I mean by that is usually teachers have 30 students in their classroom and they give them a test or a quiz or something, and that test or quiz is supposed to give them information about what students know and don't know. But there's lots of ways to figure out what students know and don't know. And in some ways, a quiz or a test is the most one-dimensional way that you could possibly assess that. And so since you're spending this time with students on a one-to-one basis or a small group basis, you're actually capable of getting way more information about where they're at, what they know, what they don't. And so this is where we want to really try to embody our value number 7 in the program, which is whoever does the work does the learning. And so when you are giving the student the marker, metaphorically or sometimes literally, you're allowing them to do the work. And so it really gives them the chance to do the learning. The idea is that even if you're walking through an example, try to take every opportunity to have a student be your hands or be your digital whiteboard marker. Let's talk through some examples. We'll get to these practical moves at the end, but I'm going to go to another example here from Khan Academy. Here's a chemistry example. So you're in tutoring session, talking about questions about monoatomic ions and how do we know what ions different elements create or become. Your first problem is if you're showing them this screen, you're still doing the work. So grab that link, Control C or Command C, depending on your computer, and toss that into the chat feature in your virtual session. They have the link, they pull it up, and then you have them share their screen. So now you're looking at this and it's their screen. So you can't actually do all the work yourself. You have to kind of point the way, direct the way. So you can say, okay, so in the bottom left there's a little squiggly line. If you click that, it actually allows you to draw on here. So grab any color you want. Okay, green, cool. Now, let's look at the question. What is the question asking for? And see if you can underline what you think they're asking for. What is the most stable monatomic ion formed by cesium? So stable monatomic ion. And then you can say, okay, so do you have any idea of some tools that could help us figure this out? Let's say, well, I think we have to have the periodic table. Awesome, cool. There's actually a button for that on Khan Academy. So if you click that button that says show periodic table, it'll come up with something. So they do that. I guess they have to get out of their doodling. Okay, cool. So yeah, make sure it's not blocking any of the question. Perfect. All right, now go back and grab that doodling tool again. And the student can grab that. And find for me cesium, this element that we're trying to analyze. So they'll look and look. Maybe you can give them some clues like cesium is a metal. It's on the left side of the periodic table. But you only give them those clues after they've struggled for a little bit, right? Okay, so doodling. I apparently cannot doodle on the periodic table. Bummer. I guess you can move it and they can point to it. There's cesium. So there's some limitations in these tech tools, but there's cesium. Okay, cool. Then you can go through your deepening questions and kind of get them thinking about it. Oh, what group is cesium in? Oh yeah, group 1, etc. You go on from there. All right, physics example. You got this physics example. You jump on this Khan Academy, you open up the doodle, you get drawing, and then you realize, wait, I've made the first mistake. Grab that link, copy paste, get it in the chat. You want the student sharing their screen so that they can kind of be your hands and underline things. And if you have a small group, maybe you assign a new student to be your hands for this question. And since you're on Khan Academy, you're taking a question that is an external example. So it's fine to work through these with them and kind of let this be the we do portion of the you do, or I do, you do. I do, we do, you do. So you could run through an example and just they be your hands, or it could be one that you're working on together more collaboratively. Hope that gives you an idea of some of the ways you can make sure to use your resources in a way that allows them to be the one with the marker. Your Khan Academy link is one thing. The other option is having them open up the Zoom whiteboard or giving them the link to the Jamboard and making sure that they can draw on there. And the goal is to just have them be the one sharing their screen. Even if you're talking through the example, have them do as much as possible. All right, your action step, grab this screenshot, and have it ready for you so that you have these practical moves available when you are doing your tutoring session with your students. Take care.